My name is Carl Pearson. I'm an attorney defending foreclosure actions and want to discuss loan modification and other exit strategies or options for distressed homeowners, those who are facing foreclosure. These exit strategies, as I call them, include loan modification agreements, forbearance agreements, short sales, walkaways, defending foreclosure and using your property, preserving your present equity, the present value in excess of the present loan payoff obligation, waiting out the market for an increase in equity value, refinancing, and bringing your mortgage up to date, including others. The purpose of this video is to get you as a homeowner facing foreclosure and other homeowners before having to face foreclosure. Think about the ways of getting out of a foreclosure action in the judicial foreclosure states, such as New York and Florida and various others. I would treat this discussion like a checklist of your possible options. Now, this is the first of a two-part video series, because I can't put it all into 10 minutes. I wanted to take some time and develop some of these thoughts for you. Now, foreclosure is the main consideration. I'm assuming you are now a defendant in a foreclosure action, or that you expect to become a defendant in a foreclosure action and want to know about your options in advance of being sued. If you have foreclosure on your mind, you need to think about the various ways in which a foreclosure action is brought to a conclusion, other than by the typical default judgment for not defending the action, the sale of your property under a distress conditions, and the voluntary moving out of your home or removal by eviction proceedings. This is taking place in about 97% of the foreclosure actions. They're not defended, and they should be. Two, you have to determine your status, and that the status as to whether or not there is equity in your property, and once you've determined that, the value of remaining in your property, even if it is worth less than the amount you owe because of considerations such as the job, the school, neighborhood, friends, credit rating, and maybe other factors. Your objectives require different exits. Now, you have exit strategies when you have no present equity in the property and you have decided that it isn't worthwhile staying or trying to stay for these other reasons that I just mentioned. And these exit strategies are walking away or abandoning the property, a short sale, riding out foreclosure to recapture what I call is the hidden equity, which is the value of use of your property during foreclosure. A modification agreement, which is the most desirable exit strategy if the mortgage amount can be reduced to the present value of the property, but the bank is reluctant to do this in spite of everything that you've heard. And therefore, you may not get a modification agreement. This is what you want, but it may not happen. Avoiding a deficiency judgment at the end of the foreclosure action is certainly an objective that you have to think about. Then there are exit strategies to preserve your equity in the property. That's an alternative consideration. You have forbearance agreements, modification agreements, riding out the foreclosure with the hope of getting a modification agreement, but at the least capturing the hidden equity in your home as something better than nothing at all. Refinancing, that is hoping that during this delay created by the foreclosure action that you defend, you can refinance your home with another financial institution. Putting one or more tenants in the property to help you make mortgage payments may be an alternative way of getting financing in order to show that you can meet obligations and therefore maybe entice the bank into giving you a modification agreement. Selling your property other than at a distress sale, that is, extending your time in the property by defending the foreclosure action to get your equity out of the home, and hopefully equity that is created during the foreclosure delay. So not only the present equity, if any, but hoping that the property may come back in value and you can enjoy the capture of that. And also, you want to avoid an efficiency judgment at the end of the foreclosure action as an objective and a strategy if possible. I warn you that foreclosures are a two-track system, and by that I mean, even though you think you're dealing with a bank on the track of getting a modification agreement or a forbearance agreement or a short sale or whatever you think you're doing, they, if they have a foreclosure action against you, are going to pursue that. They don't relent on that. 99 times out of 100 it is proceeding. They don't tell you about that, or if they do, you somehow don't believe it because you're dealing with a faceless woman at the bank by telephone and she seems to assure you that we'll get back to you, and so on. So defend the foreclosure action. At the same time you may be trying for anything directly with a bank, you must defend the foreclosure action, otherwise you'll be up the creek. And I mean it, and it's an unfortunate thing, but you need to defend. Another warning, the banks are not aggressively trying to enter into modification agreements, so don't be too dependent on the modification exit option. It is truly an illusory or non-available option for too many millions of distressed homeowners. The government policy is to give money to vulture funds to buy up toxic mortgages, that is, your troubled mortgage, for the purpose of bringing foreclosure actions to drive homeowners such as you out of your homes. Very little money is actually being used to subsidize modification agreements. At least this is how it appears to me today on June 19th, 2009. If you have any questions, you can reach me, and here's my name and my contact information. Don't forget, I have a second video where I develop these different strategies. So look at that one as well. It's number 31.